The opening weekend of the Women's Six Nations, and England begin their quest for 7 titles in a row here in York, a venue that will host matches at the Women's World Cup later this year. Fans out in force to catch a glimpse of their heroes as women's rugby fever catches a hold of the country. The beginning of a huge year for the Red Roses starts now.
The world champions.
Rugby pioneers, the pathfinders.
20 years of pain is over for England.
Who showed us the way.
2025, the Women's Rugby World Cup in England.
It doesn't get any bigger.
We want to earn the right to prove ourselves.
New Zealand celebrations again. They are World Cup winners once more.
But first, there's a Women's Six Nations to take care of.
England, Six Nations champions again.
Everything we've worked on is for this year.
This is our moment.
They have dominated this tournament.
Join us for every step of the journey.
Live across the BBC.
So a World Cup on the horizon in September, but a job to do now in the Women's Six Nations. That's the message from England. It's a somewhat experimental team that coach John Mitchell has selected for this opening match. With one eye on the World Cup, a few eyebrows raised with Helena Rowland back at 10. And he's looking at a couple of youngsters too in Mia Venner and Lily Ives-Campion. Italy's only victory last year came against Ireland, and it's not pretty reading against England in recent times. 25 losses on the spin for the Azzurri. New coach Fabio Roselli will be hoping to see his side stay in the arm wrestle as long as possible. So it's England against Italy in the Women's Six Nations Championship, live from the LNER Stadium in York, and we've got a 3 o'clock kickoff here. And Simon Middleton may be a thorn, I don't know, between next to 2 red roses in Maggie Alfonsi and Katie Daly-McLean. Welcome to the team, Simon. It's great to have you here. What's it like to be on this side of the fence, eh?
Well, great to be here, first and foremost, in Yorkshire. Yeah, it's going to be nice to be asking a few questions rather than actually taking them on board.
Maggie, we've seen it there. Such a huge year for the women's game in general, for England, because they are the red-hot favourites to win the World Cup. What is the weight of expectation on them going into this Six Nations?
Well, the weight of expectation is huge. I mean, they're hosting the Rugby World Cup in 5 months' time, and the last time they held the Rugby World Cup here in 2010, as Katie will remember, we lost that. So the pressure's on them to deliver, and I guess it all starts off with here. You know, this Six Nations is really important for them. They've got a good run of games leading up to that World Cup, but they have to put in a really good campaign now so they can build up momentum.
Katie, the Red Roses do like to go on the road, and we've arrived in York, a new venue. How important is it that it's come up north?
Oh, you know I love the north. Look, I think it's brilliant. I think the thing that makes the Red Roses unique is the opportunity to get around the country, to inspire generations that aren't just around London. You know, with the World Cup on the horizon, the opportunity to test drive a new venue as well in this stadium. It's lovely and compact. It's going to be full today. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. So it's just brilliant to celebrate the Red Roses.
Simon, you've coached this side. What's it like to be at the helm in a World Cup year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real privilege for a start. I think, you know, you've got lots of combinations you want to look at. You're looking at individuals, you're trying to get your team strategy right. And you know there's going to be a lot of pressure as you build up through the year. And competition like the Six Nations is absolutely perfect preparation.
And what's it like for the players? Because, you know, they'll always say, you know, we're not thinking about the World Cup. That's nonsense, isn't it? You are, aren't you? Thinking, I've got my moment to put my hand up for selection.
Sonia, I always thought about making sure I made that World Cup team. I don't know about Katie, but I'm not going to. We don't want to hear what Katie's got to say. I always thought about it because, you know, every time I put in a performance, I wanted to set a mark. I wanted to lay down, you know, this this is how you should play, this is how I should play, and this is how I should be when I'm in that team. But how did you feel, Katie?
I think, Maggie's name was also first on the team sheet, wasn't it? So I don't know what she's talking about. But I think for me, the other thing was about injury. It was always at the back of your mind, especially like Simon said there, when you build into something as big as the World Cup, you are really conscious of just making sure you get through games. Yes, you put in really good performances, but that you stay safe.
Let's look at Italy then. They've actually named a really strong team today, actually more caps than England, and Jenny Drummond can run us through their team news.
Thanks very much, Sonia. Yes, with a brand new leader in Fabio Rosselli, he has named an Italy side who are not to be dismissed. A whopping 638 caps in the starting 15 alone, which in fact is more than England. Now, 4 of the Italian side compete in the PWR, including captain Sofia Stefan, who brings a wealth of experience with 91 caps alone. Harlequins forward Silvia Turani is one to keep an eye out for in the front row, while sales flamboyant Beatrice Rigoni is alongside usual winger Alicia Dinka on her 23rd birthday in the centre, with Michaela Sillery out injured. So a little earlier on, I had the pleasure of catching up with the man in charge on his first ever Six Nations campaign. Fabio, it's a brand new challenge for you, your first Six Nations campaign. What do you want to achieve with Italy?
Yeah, I'm very excited to start Six Nations, this new journey, and we are all looking forward to start the match, and again playing against England, the first in the ranking. We are sure that they will play, showing us the standard that we need to build our journey. So we are really excited to do that. We prepare about that, and we will try to do our best.
In terms of your team, you have a lot of experience in there. Alicia Dinka into the centre as well, who's normally on the wing. What do you want to see from your team? What do you want to see from Alicia as well?
Yeah, you are right. We are also Aura Muzzo playing her 50 game for Italy today, so we are very proud of that. I hope that all the team will try to do their best to make a happy day for them. And we just expect to perform in some area that we practiced on the last week, and a strong defense, and we ought to do a tough match in the collision. So that's how we prepare the match.
It's a slight baptism of fire for old Fabio Rosselli, because Italy face England in their opening match. What do you think he can achieve with this team today, Simon?
Well, I think he'll be wanting to have a look at individuals as well as collective effort. They've got a lot of experience still in there, but they've got a fantastic back three. They've got some real pace, and I think he'll be wanting to be really competitive. Certainly want to be in the game by 30 minutes still.
And defensively, Maggie, they are very, very strong, aren't they? That is one of their kind of superpowers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, in the Six Nations last year, Italy really pressured England in defence, and it pretty much all came from the way they played generally. So they always focus on the breakdown, they always focus on trying to make sure they get players in to put pressure. So here, their strategy was to have one player in the ruck at all times and spread the field so they can fly up and put pressure on England. If you look at the next ruck, you see they do it again. One player goes in, the rest spread the field and they fly up. As a result of that, they're able to hit England behind the gain line, and as a result of that, get that turnover. But England really have to think about how they commit Italy at the breakdown. Because when they don't commit at the breakdown, what Italy do is they spread the field again and look to have this wedge defence. So they fly up on the outside, and it just stops England's attack. Next clip, you see it again. Rigoni flies out of the line, and as a result of that, England are able to get around it, but it all starts from that breakdown. So where possible, England should look to try and maybe snipe with number 9, look to pick and go over forward, or if need be, potentially chip over the defence to try and stop that pressure.
So, Simon, we know that Italy can be strong defensively. What about what they might bring in attack?
Yeah, again, they've got some real pace in the back three. They're a good counter-attack side. We can see here how off a kick return, shift the ball, get the ball into space quickly, and they like to, attack the edges. I think in Rigoni they have someone who's an outstanding kicker. She's very unpredictable as well, but she's got a great kicking game. And I think given England's back three, it could be really interesting today. Again, innovation in terms of quick line out to the front, and then they've got Sylvia Tarani comes on the ball. She's a great ball carrier, so there'll be a bit of surprise, a bit of innovation about them.
And Katie, they've also got a little bit of stardust, haven't they, in Alyssa De Inca, who's happy birthday to her. It's her 23rd birthday today. I mean, what sort of threat is she? They've moved her from the wing to the centre.
Look, she is X-Factor in Italy, like the guys have spoken about. She's a real talent, but Italy play in this way that it is high risk, high reward. They want to spread the ball. You see here, they come out the back, Rigoni, flat to the line, but it's the offload game. And for me here, it's about her pace. It's her ability to read the play, to get on top of the play, and that balance run of the footwork. She's got 3 defenders there in 5 metres. She's able to decelerate, beat them, and finish. And I think for me, if Italy are to go well today, she has to perform, because the opportunity to be in that 13 channel, which has got a bit more time, potentially a bit more space and a bit more opportunity on the ball.
Yeah, she's a fabulous rugby player. We get the chance to see her cut loose. Let's concentrate now on England. And as I mentioned, there was a little bit of surprise when Simon Middleton, you didn't name the team, did you? When John Mitchell named his team earlier this week. And Jenny Drummond can lead you through it.
Don't worry, Sonia, I've been practicing not to say that name as well, I'm not going to lie. But look, I need a little bit longer to actually go through England's team news, because John Mitchell has certainly rung the changes since England's last competitive match in the WXV final against Canada. Now, he's added 7 new players, including 5 positional changes, with only Maud Muir, Amy Cockayne and Marley Packer playing in the same positions from that game. Other headlines include Helena Rowland starting at 10 for the first time since 2022. Mia Venner gets a first cap in 5 years as she fronts up on the wing. And you've mentioned Lily Ives Campion has her first test start. And there's no Zoe Harrison as well in today's lineup. So there we have it, Sonia. Plenty for you to discuss in the studio in terms of team news.
And we can discuss it further with the man himself, because John Mitchell has... Hello, how are you?
Hello, Sonia. Very good, thank you.
Excellent. Look, we know it's such a big year ahead for England, for the women's game. How easy or otherwise is it been to sort of avoid all of the noise around the World Cup?
It's been, it's important to be excited by the World Cup. We definitely are. But this tournament, as Simon and you all know, is very important to us as England. So we respect it. And it's a great opportunity to get 25 started.
So today we were just talking about your team selection, because I kind of looked at it and went, what's he done? You know, you've mixed it up. What are you thinking?
Well, I've definitely got end in mind. I think we need to plan with end in mind. We've got 13 test matches that we'll have to earn the right on to go all the way. So I think it's really important to back the whole of the squad, to give everyone purpose and get them all excited about competing for positions going forward.
Sounds great. Just really interested, selection, really interesting selection. Apart from the obvious result-wise, looking at individuals, what does success look like for you guys today at the end of the game?
I want to see us build pressure on the opposition, build pressure on pressure. So you'll see some involvement in our game from last year. We probably played a little bit we'll play too much, to be totally fair, so we'll bring back a little bit more balance. And then also I'd like to see how we get through our difficult patches as well.
Does that mean, sorry Mags, does that mean we're going to see England kicking a bit more?
Yeah, I think you will see a bit more kicking, Katie. I think when it's the right time to go to contestable or fine grass, we'll definitely do that.
And is that something, sorry Mags,
that's right,
is that something that you continue to work on and develop in the build-up to World Cup? That's going to be a bit more of your identity.
Yeah, we've focused a lot on that in the camps. The girls are excited by the involvement, so I think we'll tackle a little bit tighter as well. So we'll ask a lot of questions of the opposition, when we get hold of ball and go at them.
So, John, obviously captain Zoe Aldcroft. What do you hope to see from her today?
Well, she just leads by example. She's not a lady with a lot of words, but she backs up her words with actions. But she's also enabled by really good players around her, and Marley. And Megan is obviously, we have 3 roles within the team. We have our starters, we obviously have our finishers, and then we've got our wider group, and they all have got roles to play, and they've all got to contribute in some sort of way. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if something's successful out there, it's a result of everyone doing their job.
I have one thing to say to you. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. I'm counting backwards.
I think we're all doing that, to be honest. Thank you very much. That's England head coach John Mitchell. He's going to dash off because he's got more important things to do probably than chat to us. Now look, World Cup fever has caught a light, hasn't it, in the country. Now just look at this. That is really cool. That's, if you know your rugby pubs in Twickenham, that's the Cabbage Patch, and it is now adorned with that fabulous mural to honour the Red Roses as Marley Packer, Meg Jones and Zoe Allcroft on there, and they've all been along and signed it as well. Yeah, that was doing a roaring trade earlier on this week with lots of people taking selfies, etc. Now, Zoe Allcroft, we've talked about her, haven't we? She's going to be a big figure in this England squad throughout the Six Nations Championship as captain, of course, never mind what she does in both either the second row or the back row. She's quite the warrior. So we sent a gladiator, Jodie Ounsley, to meet her.
Powering through, England score their second. An absolute powerhouse. It is Allcroft who touches down. World Player of the Year. And a natural leader. And most importantly, she's a northern lass. You all right? You all right, gal? Come on, let's go. Zoe, firstly, how does it feel to be a northern lass and now captain of the national team?
I absolutely love being from Yorkshire, from the north. I think it kind of gives me that sense of like that extra bit of grit that I want to fight for things on the pitch, and then now to captain my country, it's just something that I'm super proud and privileged to be able to do.
Looking back on your journey, you know, you moved away from home when you was very young to go to Gloucester Hartpury. How did that feel in that moment? Does it feel like it's been worth it almost? And because she was only like 16 at that point.
Yeah, so for the first week I absolutely hated it, like was super homesick, wanted to come home, but I kind of stuck it out, and like now I think back and I think that was a real like key part of my journey, and that was where I kind of got taught the hard work by Nolly Waterman and in a professional environment, but at the age of 16, so you kind of know what it is, how it's embedded in you, so it kind of like was that first taste of real professionalism, and then from then I just had the desire just to go on and do what I can do.
So how did the captaincy come about? Did you see it come in, or what was like the process like that?
No, I didn't really see it coming. I've been in the leadership group for a number of years now, and obviously was vice captain behind Marley. Just at the start of this year, I just got a phone call from Mitch asking if to be captain, having my breakfast. So yeah, that's how it came about, and obviously was just super proud, and just like, first of all, my heart was beating so fast, but then just kind of thought about how I wanted to go about how I want to lead.
I mean, what better way to find out over your breakfast?
Scrambled eggs on toast, yeah.
Allcroft is there as well. She's got the steps. Zoe Allcroft scores!
You've said yourself that you're very competitive. Where does that competitive come from?
I think I've always had like a competitive streak in me. Growing up, I had an older brother, and like everything used to be a competition, whether that be ball games in the garden or board games inside. So I think just like the Northern Yorkshire grit, and I think that is like something that's embedded inside me, and just everything that I want to do, I want to be the best and want to win it.
Is there any extra sort of pressure as such going into this role? You know, what people are rumoured that it's the biggest year of women's rugby.
I think the biggest thing that I've kind of said to myself going into this is make sure I'm myself and just kind of like stick to that. And I think if I'm able to do that, then like that's going to be the best thing for the team. And I think, we say pressure is a privilege, so it's just a very exciting time to be involved in.
Well, thanks so much, Zoe. Thanks for chatting, and it's been lovely to speak to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And it'll be a big moment shortly for Zoe Allcroft as she leads England out here at the York Community Stadium ahead of this Six Nations game against Italy. And I'm assuming, Katie, that you're you're improving of her being captain as a Northerner.
100%. I mean, Marley Packer is a ferocious individual, and I'm a bit scared of her. But this lady on your screen she is what epitomises England captaincy. You know, she drives standards, she leads from the front, she leads by example. There is not a harder working individual in that Red Roses side than Zoe Allcroft. So I think in a World Cup year, it is a very, very good choice.
And we mentioned, didn't we, that there was a slight surprise when Simon Middleton, done it again, when... Just because still standing there when John Mitchell named his team, because Helena Rowland is back at 10. Now, I know you two have got a slight disagreement here about whether or not she should be wearing that jersey.
Do you want to go?
Oh yeah, I'll stop. I think she definitely should be wearing it. That's not to say that Holly and Zoe don't deserve to be in it as well. I'm a massive fan of Helena Rowland. I think she's got a fantastic all-round game. She can kick, she can run. You know, she's a real threat with the ball, and I think she could be the one that comes through in the end. She just needs a bit more game time there. So.
I mean, I agree with some of what Simon said.
But not all of it.
No, not all of it. I think what's interesting about Helena, you look, she hasn't played 10 since 2022. Holly Aitchison has done 18 games for England that 10 shirt. I think for me it's about the game management, and this is where it's interesting being England, right? Because they don't get tested, so you don't necessarily have to manage yourself out of problems. And I think she is a great rugby player. I think if you're Zoe Harrison, it must be really tricky seeing other people jump ahead of you. But I think at the moment, for me, Helena probably sits more naturally in that 13 or fullback slot as opposed to a fly half.
Yeah, I do think that is a spot on area. The game management side is the one area that, you know, she probably needs to work more on.
Because basically Holly Aitchison has been the 10 since, effectively since the World Cup. So if you had to pick a 10 to play in a World Cup final tomorrow, who wears that jersey?
I think Holly will still wear that jersey. I think at the moment this is about John finding other opportunities. Because look, you can't go to a World Cup with one fly half, right? Yes, we know Zoe Harrison's around. I think Zoe Harrison's is in that mix, but we talked off air about whether Zoe is playing the game that John Mitchell wants to see, and I think it's a really interesting point.
And very much having heard what John Mitchell just said about returning maybe to a little bit more of a kicking game, sort of brings Zoe very much back into the equation.
And who kicks though? Emma Singh, is she going to kick?
100%. She's one of the best goal kickers in the PWR at the moment, you know, and I think, again, this balance of who plays 10, if probably Holly isn't your first choice goal kicker, so you need to have a goal kicker, but you've also got Emily Scarrett, you've got Meg Jones, and Helena can all goal kick.
And so as their recent coach, what do you think of the way that England are likely to set up and play today, Simon? Sort of high risk, high reward?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we having watched them before, you see here in WXV, they'll run the ball from anywhere. But having said that, they've clearly addressed that. They've talked about that, whether that's the right style for them at this moment in time. Here you can see them getting turned over against Canada right at the start of the game. Canada scored off the back of this play. But this is the X factor about England. When they do move the ball, they've got so many players who can hit you, and especially this one, Ellie Kildon, absolutely sensational. But I think they'll be a bit more pragmatic about how they play today, and certainly judged on what John's just said.
I think they've got to in a World Cup year, because ultimately it's great playing this rugby in a in-between year when nothing matters. You know that, Maggie. You can go throw the ball around, but in a World Cup year that really changes things.
I think the key thing for England, though, is just to play. I mean, you've got Six Nations, an opportunity just to have a go, and you're going to teams where we have a huge respect for each one of them, but I think they'll feel quite confident that they can actually put combinations together and try things out going into what is going to be a significant World Cup campaign.
Thank you very much, Katie Daly. McLean, you're off to commentary.
Thank you.
Teams are in the tunnel. Commentary comes from Brian Moore, Katie and Sarah Orchard.
A first glimpse of England, led by Scarborough's finest, Zoe Allcroft. Now, of course, the permanent captain in what could be a very special year for her side. Italy also making their way out. But as you can see, plenty of Scarborough fans in the crowd watching on. Oh, there we go. Dave Ward, the husband of Abby Ward, and little girl Hallie watching on. Very proud of Mummy, who's taking to the field with her side. Now, the teams have got a little bit of a long walk around the pitch to get ready for this. It's a rapturous Yorkshire welcome. And as we said, plenty of friends and family are packed into the stands today. And if this atmosphere is anything to go by, the Rugby World Cup games here later this year could be something very special indeed. I do wonder how much of this crowd actually are made up of the Zoe Allcroft fan club. Scarborough, her hometown, of course, just an hour's journey down the A64 towards the coast. And both teams just making their way around. And it is worth also mentioning, you might have noticed right at the front of Italy there was Oramuzzo. Now, she is actually winning her 50th cap today. 27-year-old making her debut back in the 2017 Six Nations against France. 9 tries so far for her in a blue shirt. But right, it's time to settle down as we get ready for the anthems.
3, 2, 1, stand.
But how far will that get the visitors today? We will take a look at their opponents and the reigning Six Nations champions England first. Sweeping changes by the head coach John Mitchell. In the forwards, just a second cap for Loughborough Lightning's Lily Ives Campion in the second row. She's lining up alongside Saracens' Rosie Gallagher for this one. Meanwhile, into the backs, it's another Loughborough player that actually catches the eye. Helena Rowland, she wears the 10 jersey for the first time in 2 years. Now, the new Italy coach, Fabio Rosselli, has slightly tinkered around the edges of his squad. It's a big day for Laura Gurioli, who will be relishing the chance to start at hooker, while Francesca Scorbini wears 8 in the absence of Elisa Giordano, who is once again injured. And as we move into the backs, much of the focus is on that centre partnership of Beatrice Rigone and Alicia Dinka. And now we do normally see Dinka on the wing. She has played in the centres before, but this is a real opportunity for us to see her show off her skill set. Now, there are debuts aplenty if given the opportunity off the benches. You've got Robinson and Shekels for England, and also Bitonci for Italy. She'll be wearing 21. Well, they're just settling in here in York. High time to say a very good afternoon to Brian Moore. Now, it's a big year for England, and ultimately, could their greatest opponent, Brian, be the weight of expectation?
Well, certainly they'll be aware of what is coming, but that's a macro level about which they can do nothing now. It's a consequence of what they do on a micro level now, which means getting the unit skills right, getting the individual skills right, and setting their own standards of performance individually.
Fabio Rosselli watching on as our referee today is Zimbabwe's Precious Pisani. We are moments away now from England against Italy. The final match in round 1 of the 2025 Women's Six Nations. England, of course, chasing a 7th title in a row. Italy dreaming perhaps of past glories, but with that new coach keen to write a new chapter. As Ostuni Manuzzi gathers the ball in the backfield. Stefan Medea. I think everyone in York heard that absolute clatter. Medea just getting stuck. Big run this time by Sayet. Plays her rugby in Premiership Women's Rugby for Ealing. Slight juggle of the ball for Locatelli. Medea just trying to get that moving. Rigoni not quite accurate with the passing and puts Ostuni Manuzzi under huge pressure. Same also for Granzotto. And all that pressure, just look where we've ended up. Katie Daly-McLean.
Hello. I mean, we look at Italy, and this is what is so frustrating. They have so much potential and such good players, but one error we see here, she just doesn't look like who she knows she's hitting. And then the pressure from McDonald forces an offer that you shouldn't be given, and England get really easy opportunity in the 22.
Let's go, ladies.
If that had gone down, they'd actually been round the corner. They'd have hit the edge there.
Well, an early chance to see a scrum between these two sides. You can see the extra kilograms that England have got over this Italian pack. That will count for an awful lot. And there it goes, it's moving as well. Bernardi picks up at the back, and here they flood round the corner. Still England ball. Packer looks up again. Well, rare mistake, there's a bit of confusion there. Singh knows to straighten. Cocaine. Heads down from England, but that blue defensive line of Italy holds for now. Gallagher at the bottom of that pile as it comes back once again. Rowland with the distribution, Scarrett with the pass out wide. Venner, can she do something? Nice show and go. She's done it all season with Gloucester Hartbury. Packer. Head down again, this time Aldcroft. Big push over by Muir. Popped off ball, Gallagher again goes. Huge numbers out wide, they just need to get it out there, and it does. Try, Venner. Well, it didn't take long. A special moment for Mia Venner. Only her second cap today. She got her first age 17 back in 2020. She's had to wait, but it was worth it.
It really was, and it's really nice play here. Good long passing, but Italy gets so short. They give England so much space in that wide channel. It's ball in two hands, it's basic stuff. But for me, this is where England come alive. It's quick, it's tempo, and it's easy, isn't it? The ball is stretched. We don't see it, but the work of the forwards to speed up really quick ball, and it's good distribution. We know Holly Aitchison has a great pass, and I'm not sure Mia Venner will score an easier try today.
Well, the Italians were desperately trying to fold in and get the numbers right close to the breakdown when the ball went to the England right. They eventually made it, just meant that they ran out of numbers when the ball back went the opposite way. It's a simple game for England, and Italy, if they don't work harder to fill those gaps earlier, are going to struggle.
Well, that was all the strength from Mia Venner, but let us not forget the significant contribution there of Emma Singh. So much is made. If there is one chink, perhaps, in an English armour, it's a kick, isn't it, Katie Daly-McLean? And that was nailed.
And she's kicked so well for the PW all year. Probably it's got the highest goal percentage this year.
First line up, my mark, half a metre.
Stepping up for this one, Laura Gurioli. She
open up.
Actually isn't Laura Gurioli who's going to take this one, it's Turani. Now she can play hooker, and tight head. She can play across the whole front row. Incredibly versatile. Oh, frustrations there for Italy. That's the kind of thing that they just cannot have today.
No, and it's going to be really important, like you say, Tirani thrown in. It's not something you normally see, but can play across the front row. And just one of those where jumper and 9 have just miscommunicated, having their Sophia Stefan is moving away and the jumper's put it in the space she's left. But it's going to be really important for Italy when they get possession that they've got to use it, they've got to get their basics functioning.
Well, I wondered if they were going to start with their 3 best kickers, the halfbacks, and Rigoni, and try and put the England back 3 under pressure, because they've played together very little, and if anything, if they can get territory and try and make something out of that with a decent kick chase, then they might have some, they might be more successful.
This scrum is going to be a problem for Italy. It's a big feather in the cap for England. Here it comes, Roland. McDonald looking for work, out to Venom. Oh, that is lovely. Pins her ears back, oh, can't quite get there. What a tumble, picks up the ball, goes again. Packer, back inside, Scarrett is there! 2 tries, not even 7 minutes played. That is Emily Scarrett's 55th try in a white shirt.
Not a bad stat, that, is it? She's got over 100 caps, though, so I don't think it's a game every 2. But this is a beautiful first phase. Emily Scarrett starts it. She brings in 3 defenders, and then it's good skills. Again, Italy giving England that wide channels. What a tap tackle there, though. You think Mia Venner's gone into touch. She doesn't. And there, Emily Scarrett, again, just pops up, has recycled, has worked hard. But for me, it was all from the first phase scrum move. England, like you said, are very, very dominant. It's scrum time.
Well, the hush goes round York once again for Singh. Only 7 days since she was lifting the PWR title with Gloucester Hartbury. And that one just kisses the left hand upright, but on the right side. And England now with a full complement of points from their 2 tries. And the question here, Brian, is Italy, they just need to hold on to their ball and at the moment avoid a scrum.
Well, yes, and get their first phase right in terms of the line-out, the only one of which they've managed not to complete. But it's going to be very difficult for them if they can't get successive set phase ball from which they can counter.
Aitchison. Holly Aitchison is wearing 12 today for England. Recently, you've seen her at fly half. She has played there before, though. Distribution from Stefan again, but Italy not getting close to that gain line as there's an arm wrestle going on there. England are taking no prisoners at the breakdown for now as Sales Stefan takes her time to get that ball back. They need someone chasing that ball. The one underneath it is easy for Singh, and the pressure is just piling on now. Packer could see an empty backfield. Ostuni Manuzzi is chasing back, as is Stefan. And that one, what a charge down, what a moment. It's a line out for Italy, but that's all about English territory.
This is a great bit of play, isn't it, from Lucy Packer? She knew space was there, but it's the execution to roll it. She doesn't want it to go out because she wants to chase, she wants to squeeze Italy. Really, really smart bit of play then. Sophia Stefan probably in that moment just needs to carry and let Italy build a platform.
Keep my gap. Open up. Okay. East. East. 4 men, 4 men, 4 men.
Well, Italy have got it in the air. Good work by Fedrighi. Stefan goes once again. The white wall is proving extremely tricky for Italy to do anything with this ball. They need to find an exit. Well, there is a touch there you heard from our referee, so the foot chase is on. Singh gathers.
No. It's okay, you're fine, but they need to roll away. They need to roll. Yeah. Your mark over here.
think England were a bit lucky there. I thought it was a decent turnover. One of the problems you did tangentially highlight there, so was the fact that when the ball is slow and Italy are having to commit so many players to win it, all the England players are standing up, and therefore they are 5 or 6 players down when they try to move the ball. So the only alternative is to kick.
Cocaine with her first set of arrows as it goes now to Feanati, wearing number 8 today. John Mitchell just trying out new combinations. Cocaine again.
Holding. First player number 8. Holding.
Well, that look on Amy Cocaine's face, I'd be nervous to give a penalty against her.
She's not scary, she looks. I think Italy are lucky there because England are carrying so well. All the Italian players are getting left on the England side of the ball, which is making it harder for them, like Brian says, to get anybody on their feet to defend. I think we see it here then from Feanati, what a carry this is. She gets 2-3 players having to haul her down, but because they end up on the other side, they now can't run away, which means Italy can't jackal. Really fast ball for England.
Straight in Cocaine's hands, and it comes down the English back line. Scarrett, already a try scorer to Venner. She cuts back inside nicely. Different Packer, Marley Packer. Not related. Heads down from England. They fly over the line. Is it down? No. Held up. Goal line drop out.
Yeah, now. We are trying to defend. Okay, but you were. Please. Okay.
Well, Beatrice Rigoni there just going in and having a chat with our referee. As Italy just line up and get ready for this goal line dropout.
Well, I think that's 4 out of 5 line-outs that have gone wrong for Italy.
Stay behind the kicker, please.
Quite apart from all their other problems, if you can't secure good first phase ball, then the rest of the game doesn't work.
The play has continued as Amy Cocaine continues to receive treatment to her hand on the near side touch. She's now back on her feet and joining the attacking line. Exeter's Feanati.
Holding.
Well, that's 4 carries now for Feanati, but on that occasion, Italy did just get over the top of that one. Beatrice Rigoni stepping up to take this one. You've worked with Rigoni at Sale. How have you seen her game develop since she's come to play in England, Katie?
Look, I think what Bayer does and how talented she is brilliant. I think for us at Sale, it's just about their moments and about her game management, her game understanding. She's got a bag of tricks and she's so confident to use them, but it's just about time and a place. And I think for her, the thing she's developed is that leadership as well, the way she drives standards around the place, and I'm sure she's doing that for Italy as well.
Huge long throw there by Tirani. Well taken at the back. Is this more going to get chucking? Stefan Medea had support on her shoulder from Muzzo. Stefan looks out once again, supported there this time by Duca.
No, when her feet there, stay up.
Just as Italy think they're doing something, the England forwards have a say about that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's a really good decision by Madia to come in there. I mean, she potentially is jumping into that tackle. But here you see Amy Cocaine is on line on the tackler. Italy have got to move that to secure their own ball.
Oh, Gallagher couldn't quite take that one at the back, but it's not gone forwards. Big run there by Kelsey Clifford, wearing 1 today. Normally a tight head. The referee just getting in the mix there, so they'll just restart that one with an English ball. We've talked a lot about Sylvia Tirani can play across the front row. Kelsey Clifford, we normally see her as a tight head. They're just doing a little bit of treatment at the moment to the Italian fly half, but whilst we wait for that one, Brian, you played hooker. How hard would it be for you to just slot in at a loose head or a tight head? It's not straightforward. These are incredibly talented women.
It is very difficult because you use a completely different set of muscles, for example, from the loose head, which is the left-hand side for the hooker, to the tight head, which is the right-hand side. One is effectively a defensive position where you try and stabilise at loose head so the strike can come in, you keep it there. And the attacking side is the tight head where you try and bore in and put pressure on the hooker and your opposite loose head. So they are completely different ways of doing. Obviously you've got a bit of more of idea if you've played in any of the three, but it still is not simple.
And Katie, do you think Kelsey Clifford playing at loose head today is a way of John Mitchell maybe just trying out his squad ahead of that World Cup, seeing who's the most versatile, because he cannot take as many numbers as he has for this Six Nations to the World Cup?
I think it's interesting. I definitely think as a player, if you're given an opportunity to start that position that isn't your primary position, to say, look, I can maybe do something else, then you take it. I think Kelsey Clifford's really interesting. Going back through the stats, she hasn't started there for Saracens at all, and she's had one bench slot at loose head, so it's definitely not something she's had a lot of exposure to do today. I think to do it on the international scene is also pretty impressive, isn't it? Like you say, shows the talent and the ability of these girls to be able to jump between both positions. It's pretty impressive.
Never fancied the front row, Katie.
Do you know what it is? As I said that, I was frowning all the way through it. Just the thought of it, listening to Brian. No, it's not for me.
Your ears might not like it. So
I think that's the least of my worries.
Well, looking here, England have got, they've got perfect options both sides, haven't they? Completely split field.
We're back underway. This English scrum has impressed and continues to. Bernati's control at the base, decides to exploit the right, straight into Ragone, Scarrett over the top. They continue to flood the right channel. Packer has to take in herself. Still forward ball. A little bit more patience here from England, not trying to force it.
Holding.
And having said that, the forwards just holding on to it for a little bit too long, so Italy get their reprieve.
I've got a question for you, Brian. On that scrum, when England are going so dominant, we see here obviously really good turnover. But if you're the front row and you know you've got that dominance, and then your eights moving the ball a bit early, do you have a quiet word, tap her on the shoulder and say?
You do if it's near the try line. Although what I would say about this and the refereeing is, I like the fact that there hasn't been a penalty just because one team is getting pushed backwards. Far too often you see a team who doesn't commit any offence but is just being beaten actually penalised as well, which is not legal.
Stefan looking up to look for her options. Locatelli is there. Again, this is not the end of the field where Italy want to be playing. Stefan with the box kick. Gallagher couldn't get a hand to that one. Singh underneath. It was a good chase by Muzzo to make sure that Singh didn't get too far away. Clifford. Gallagher again. She's been a busy woman so far this afternoon. Scarrett. Rowland. Very flat England back line at the moment as Aitchison finds herself out on the wing. Still England ball. Packer looks up, still options there. It's Gallagher again who's taking into contact. Rowland. Bernati can't take. And all of the excitement, the up and down the line, it's an Italian scrum.
Better defensive set there from Italy, wasn't it? They forced an error. England, I think, we're just saying there, but Clifford has gone so well. Her and Gallagher, the amount of carries and work they're getting through, forced a bit of an error there. Fainarti just a little bit flat, a bit urgent to want to get a hold of the ball. But I think for Italy, they've got to be happier there.
Well, the carries from England are not only making ground, but they're making, and more importantly, making ground after contact, which means all the Italians have been pulled in initially and then having to retreat, which is a much more, it's only a few yards, but when you have to do it time and time again, it means you simply run out of players, you run out of energy. And I just also say, from a psychological point of view, it must be very difficult when you're being pounded and pounded and not had any positives to play with for this amount of time. It's nearly a quarter of the game gone.
Well, Italy got rid of that sharpish, and they find a little bit of space. Singh has to just track towards the left-hand side of the field to gather. McDonald into contact. Coming back from her second neck injury, McDonald. Great to see her back in an England shirt. Aitchison, very happy to stand in at first receiver. Rowland out to Fernati. She's got Venner outside her. Takes two Italian defenders along the floor with her. Galligan. Still English ball. Clifford. Packer is appealing. Wasn't happy there, the scrum half. She goes on a little snipe round the corner and eventually ends up in a knock-on. She was frustrated at the back there with something, Lucy Packer. She wanted something else from her forwards that she wasn't getting.
Quicker ball. I mean, they couldn't give her much quicker ball for the majority of the game. Just shows, doesn't it? It doesn't matter what side you are. If you are getting slow ball, your options are reduced and it is a much more difficult game. If you're like Italy, you're not getting much ball and the ball you do get is slow and you're having to commit more players to actually win it, then it virtually becomes impossible.
That would be a live side. We're just running into.
Lucy Packer's just re-signed with Harlequins in the last week. A number of the players are coming out at the moment, re-signing, as it is the end of the Premiership Women's Rugby season. Got quite a few of the Italian players that now do play in the English League, but the majority of them, we have to say, do still play in Italy. That league is the Women's Elite Serie A. They've still got one round of their regular season matches to go, and then they actually have a playoff final which will happen in May between first and second in the league. At the moment it's Valsugana and Villorba who'll be playing that one off, but Colorno still might have a say in that one. Now they're pumping out the tunes here. There's a little bit of treatment going on to a few players, but I don't think they're going to make any players just say, oh, she's having a great time. I want what she's having. Can someone write down her seat number? Because Brian, Katie, that's where we're going. Final whistle.
That'll be us towards the end of the tournament.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. Right, there's a little bit more rugby we have to get through first. Right then. England started so dominantly in this fixture. 2 quick tries within 3 minutes of each other, but so far Italy have held for the last 10 minutes. Well, Italy do well to get that one out again. But the mistake comes. Stefan is almost trying to do too much there at the back because that scrum is going backwards so fast.
It's so hard for her, though, isn't it? You look at the rate of knots at 8 out there. She doesn't have any other decision. And I think what's hard is that really she probably just needs to carry that. But as a 9, she knows she's going to want a box kick.
Again finds her woman, and here comes the drive from England in the middle of it. Oldcroft, the captain, asking for another inch from her side.
Yeah, done by right, yeah, so.
You can see that working through that Seye is causing a problem, but Galligan's still there with it. And Galligan's still there. Try number 3. And England now 1 try away from a bonus point.
Well, I thought for a moment that was going to fail. The ball, usually at the back when it's so exposed, would be poached by somebody, but unfortunately for Italy, they played completely fairly, didn't change the bind, and didn't manage to actually stop us scoring. it's well sealed there. Normally when it comes here, you can see the ball gets exposed at the back. Now, you're not allowed to change your bind as a player. And indeed she didn't, but that meant the ball went over uncontested.
It's tough, isn't it? Because a lot of England's tries have come from Italy's errors. At the moment, they're making it easy for England because they're not exiting, they're not getting...
Time off.
Now, I think we are going to check something here. We'll go in and listen in to our conversation between Precious Pisani and Aaron Patterson.
Let us come to the screen.
Talking about the grounding of the ball.
Now, they've got quite a run here, the officials team, to the big screen, because they were in one corner and they're having to run all the way over to the other corner. Nothing like a bit of a workout.
You'd think from a logistical point of view, it could be in the middle, couldn't it?
I think they're still waiting to get the pictures for Pisani to look at.
Coming now, Precious.
Okay.
Well, waiting for the officials, don't want to interrupt them.
So from there, I'm seeing she knocks on the ball.
I
agree. So there's no try there.
Are you happy with the position? Just waiting?
Yeah, just wait.
Are you happy?
So, but blue player comes from the side, so we can go back and restart with the penalty. Happy?
Happy with just a penalty? Get that field position. Zinni, can we have a wide angle to see how that Italian player
comes in into the maul?
Yeah, I'm hearing everything there, girls. Let's get a wide angle for the access.
Okay.
Sorry, entry by the blue player.
Yes, yes.
Well, they're just trying to check on the Italian player who may have dislodged the ball there for Galligan. They're going to say she definitely knocked it over the line, but it's just how that happened.
Well, it's not the player who's got hold of her arm
she's
there.
She's swinging around, so changes the bind and comes from the side, so...
scoring position.
Okay, so Zinni, we're gonna go. No,
just a moment.
Yeah.
Coming to you now.
Okay, thank you, Zinni. So we're gonna go no try because it was knocked on, but number 2 blue changes bind and comes in and tackles the white 4. So,
correct.
Yes, preventing a probable try, so we're going to go penalty try.
Agreed.
Okay.
And a yellow card.
And a yellow card for number 2. Number 2. Okay.
Blue 2.
Okay, thank you, Zinni. Back to me. Okay, captain.
Okay, our referee, Precious Pisani, now needs to explain that to Italy, because they're down at the other end of the field. So England are going to be awarded a penalty try. It won't be the Galligan try. And of course, when it's a penalty try, you get the 5 points and the automatic conversion as well. So they'll go up in 7s. But Italy don't know any of this yet. Okay. They're about to find out.
We had a maul. Yeah. So the first initial try was not scored because they knocked it on. But blue 2 came from the side and was changed bind and made a tackle on number 4, and then she knocked on the ball. Okay. So we're going to go penalty try and yellow card to number 2. Okay.
So Laura Guglioli, she is on her way to the sin bin. A frustration for her as well, because this is her first start in the Six Nations for the Vlhova players. So she makes her way off the field, and what was already a difficult afternoon here for Italy is going to get even more complicated.
It's coming off.
Because we can also see there's another change here. It looks like Veronica Medea, who is the fly half, is making her way off the field, and they're having to bring on Emma Stevanin. So not going well for the Italians so far. Play back underway though. Aitchison has the ball. Packer, Cocaine, popped off to Muir. Galligan with the little juggle there. Scarrett wanted it, but Galligan did well to hold. Was that a knock-on by McDonald? Referee happy she didn't touch. Cocaine, that was nice. Hanging around at the back there is Rowland. She wants someone to chase that. Unable to be taken clearly by Dinka.
Knock on advantage.
Sing. Oh, nice steal in the midfield there by Italy, but we're playing advantage. Tarani can't have that one. We'll restart then with an English scrum.
Something that England had talked about in the week was around this kick to contest. And we see it here. It's a good weighted kick from Helena Rowland there. Very good chase by Mia Venner, and just forces the error, doesn't it? It's an easy turnover possession in a scrum. And we know England have been very dominant at.
Well, it was interesting hearing John Mitchell before the game saying that they wanted to play with a little more restriction and more contested kicks. There's been very few of those, actually. But that's simply because what they've been trying to do first up has been working so well.
Let's go. Natasha Moore.
You can see there was a change there for Italy because they've got that yellow card. They've had to bring on Vittoria Vacchini. Making way for her is Francesca Granzotto.
Let's use it.
Well, that scrum not moving around as much as it previously has. Far side to McDonald.
Rip to the tackle.
What a great steal by Italy.
No.
They just need to back up these good moments, not pile more pressure on themselves.
Careful.
Rowland can see space in the backfield. Is she eyeing up a 50-22? No, not going to get the bounce of the ball. Vittoria Ostuni Manuzzi is completely isolated there. Oh, battering ram Maud Muir. Plenty of white shirts. Up in the face there of Ostuni Manuzzi. She sees a bit of space in the backfield. Singh. McDonald. Play on the far side of the field then. And after that back and forth, unsurprisingly, the territory battle is just edged by England.
Yeah, I think England have had 3/4 of that territory, haven't they, if not more. I think Italy have had a couple of entries into England's half. I don't think they've been in their 22, so it is really hard. I think the only thing to argue is around this wind. So that wind is definitely in England's favour at the moment, which is making it harder for Italy to exit.
Big run coming in, more forwards offering themselves. Need a little bit, you can just see Stevenin trying to get involved in there. The Valsugana player, she can play at centre or fly half, really useful player for them to have on the bench.
Use it.
Pressure by Gallagher, you have to say, you can see a lot of Rosie Gallagher and Zoe Allcroft just putting huge pressure on those Italian kicks.
Step back, step back.
Rowland goes into play scrum half. Muir, Singh, Fernati, Scarrett. Crossfield kick from Scarrett. Can Venner get there? Just a little bit too much on it. Hard to execute those, Katie Daly-McLean.
They are, and Emily Scarrett will be really disappointed, but it's a nice play, isn't it? You know, she didn't have much of, everybody's quite flat there, so it's the best way to get the ball into space. England maybe just need to hold a little bit more depth in those wider channels because Italy are very, very narrow.
Vecchini with the long throw. Stevenin, Ragone. Stefan is there. Huge run coming in by Duca. She's so difficult to tackle, Duca. The problem here for Italy is they're just not going forward.
Backwards.
Turnover ball for England. Here they come again. Oh, Muir just shrugging off the tackles now. Oh, handed there by Rugoni, but that will be a knock-on. Just a penalty, though.
Lots of cover outside, so no more than that. Did actually reach with two hands, although it was a penalty. Another chance for England to kick the corner, and I would imagine a catch and drive.
Mark it. No contest.
Okay, big push now by the English forwards. That one is stopped, so they're going to have to go again. Fernati. Here they go, Aitchison, she goes for the crossfield kick. Who's going to be underneath this one? McDonald is there, straightens, drives, scores! A bonus point wrapped up on 28 minutes for England. We knew they would dominate this fixture, but a special moment for Claudia McDonald. Her first cap since 2023, coming back from injury and scoring again.
It's really well-weighted kick from Holly Aitchison there. Something that looks like Helena Rowlands had called there, straight to her to give her a high five. Claudia McDonald, eyes on the ball, again, awareness of that Italian defender coming across, just steps inside, but really, really lovely way, and something that no doubt the England backs are talking about and have identified that space that they're going to try and kick into.
Thank you, Zini.
Just to the left-hand side of the uprights, but still a commanding lead for England.
Well, Kenny, when you're a player down anyway, and you're forced to defend a driven line out and then successive bursts from forwards, it's always going to drag outside players in, and that option is always going to be on, provided you can weight it properly.
Yeah, and they executed really well. I think the other option is potentially to go hands, but by going straight there with the kick, just makes it really hard for Italy to do anything about it.
Worth saying that's our first bonus point we've seen in this Six Nations campaign. France couldn't get one yesterday against Ireland, neither Scotland against Wales. And bonus points could count towards the end of this championship. Venner. Huge blast there. An opportunity here for Italy. They have an opportunity here to actually build a platform for an attack. Well, let's see where this lineup is. That was Italy's fourth turnover that they've won, and this is their first entry into the England 22.
It's a tough day at the office, isn't it? After 30 minutes, you haven't been your opposition's 22, but big opportunity. You know, the last line-out went really, really well, just to build something here and get through some phases.
Still down to 14, Vecchini gets it in cleanly, the maul is set up. She then goes and joins in. You can just see the look on their faces of how they're trying to get this one moving. Stefan can see Rugoni waiting. Right up into her face was Packer.
Advantage.
And that's penalty advantage to Italy as well. I think Packer just stuck on the floor there. I mean, when you are down 4 tries, kicking a post is pointless.
It is, but sometimes it's just good to get points on the board as well. I think it's the right decision. Look, Italy's line-out has functioned so much better this last 10 minutes. So, again, big opportunity for them. See there, Marley Packer just can't get out, isn't she? She's so quick off the line at the moment. Make dominant hits.
Italy, 5 metres out. Their best opportunity of the fixture so far.
You're not going anywhere.
They didn't score against England last year. Is it in touch? Well done, Italy, for keeping that one in. They were nearly kissing the touchline. Still Italy ball. Still a chance. Round the corner goes Duca. Scorbini there as well. Pick and go.
Say what? Come again?
A metre to go. Stefan looks up. Stefanin is there. Still spinning ball. They're running out of players.
There we go back for offside. Number?
Another penalty then against England.
Okay. You said what number, Jess?
And a third line-out opportunity.
Offside, please.
Well, Italy need to stay patient here.
Time off.
I can't see the point in moving the ball wide when they're a player down, especially. Much better if they've got the drive going forward to keep short and punching away at them. Although I think they are now back to a full complement.
Okay, so now they can attack with 15 players, but as Vittoria Vecchini makes her way off the field, because they had to bring her on, that line-out throwing wasn't bad, was it?
Yes, there's a...
No pressure on the returning hooker then.
None at all. Well done, Vecchini. Back onto the field is Gurioli. She's played a little bit of Italian sevens in her time, but we're just waiting for a little bit of treatment here. Have to decide if this one can continue on the field of play, or they'll have to go off for a blood substitution. So yeah, this fixture last year was played out in Parma. It finished 48-0 to England. 8 tries they scored in total, and we're saying they played out the majority of that fixture with only 14 women on the field. It was some opening performance. And it's just really how much the Italians will develop under Fabio Rosselli. If you're looking at that face and going, I know him from somewhere. Yes, he played in the '99 World Cup for Italy. He was also the coach recently with URC side Zebre. But he hasn't been with them long. And when you come in as a coach, Brian, it does take a while to get to know your side.
It does. It would 18 months, 2 years for you to make the fundamental changes you want. But he is at least working with virtually the same 15 or starting 23, so you'll be able to judge his effect more fully.
Well, Turani is all patched up and she's back involved. That is tracking nicely for Italy. Who's got it? At the back there, you can just see the ball is tucked under her shoulder. There's a knot of players and the try is given for Italy. What a moment for them. How long they have waited to score against that side. Enjoy it.
Well, they're delighted, and they should be, because that was a very well-worked, driven try. The important thing was set up properly, sealed off properly, ball to the back so it couldn't be interfered with by England, and then had the ability, the technical ability to keep the drive going and the patience to make it count.
Scorbini with the try then. Rigoni with the chance for another 2. Oh, she's just scuffed that. Katie, can you have a word with her kicking coach?
We've been practicing as well, which is even more awkward. But look, from Italy, this is great, isn't it? You know, third attempt, one where you could get in your own head, but they made a good decision. Bit of a shift there, Brian. They moved the ball. Much better execution from Italy.
I'm being mean to you there, Katie, but if people don't know, you do coach at Sale with Beatrice Rigoni. How many kickers do you work with at Sale?
Only a couple.
Of course, Katie, one of the all-time leading point scorers for England, alongside us here in commentary as England from the restart get the ball back straight away. Flat ball there to Aldcroft. Really flat pass. Venner does so well to stop that ball with her foot. Just showing such maturity. Coming back now through Rowland. Scarrett there with the straighten. There's Scarrett. Flat ball. Waiting out there is Marley Packer. Final pass is loose.
No hands!
England really happy to work through the phases. Something that was really noticeable in their last Six Nations campaign and at WXV as they try and break through is their handling. As Maud Muir, fresh from being player of the match in the PWR final, picks up where she left off. Singh Feinati! 5 tries for England. Still 4 minutes of the first half to play, and Feinati, number 8 suits her.
It does. I mean, it was again. Oh, hang on. I think we're going to go watch that again. She loses control there, doesn't she?
Well, the issue here is if we put it on the big screen, we know it's a long way away. Here comes the officials' workout. Half of the length of the field to the other. Off they go. Well, this is what they're going to go and
Here's
look
your angles
at.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a knock-on over the line by Feinati.
Okay, I see a clear knock-on by white 8. We go back and we go have a goal line dropout. Okay, back to me, Zini. I've got a decision. Yeah. Okay, Zini, I've got a decision. Back to me.
On you now.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you've got to feel a little bit for the officials with this running up and down that they're doing and having to explain everything. So they're going to come all the way back for the knock-on over the line.
We've got a clear knock-on, so we're going to go back and start with the goal line. Yeah.
What I don't understand, Sarah, is you look at the board there, it is big enough to see from the opposite 22, especially with a knock-on like that. They don't need to run there.
No try.
This might be something that they actually look at because, of course, we have said there are 6 World Cup games here later this year. Italy will actually be playing here against South Africa in Pool D. Don't know if organisers will be looking at another big screen somewhere ahead of that one happening.
Thanks for that.
Right then, we will restart then with a goal line dropout for Italy. Normally it's fullbacks who get a lot of metres in matches like this, but I think the officials might be able to match that this time. Right then, Scarrett, Marley Packer. Muir. Cocaine. Lovely looping line that she takes. Plenty of players offering Fenner out. Again, just too much to do there in too little space. And fair play to Italy for marking her off the field.
Time off?
I think we need to check on for decision to be in touch, but let's check first. What was the best? We check first.
So you're saying on field she's in touch?
Yeah, let's check.
Okay.
Well, she hasn't even touched the ball down, so...
That's right. Thank you. It's actually ripped when he's on top.
Turn back on.
So they are going to start then with the Italian line out. Sometimes when they're sneaky, there's just a little bit more fun. Total frustration there from Italy, but that is England's 5th try.
Well, when you have a player running unopposed at you at pace and you have to stay, expecting the ball to be won by your side is almost impossible. Look, she gets the starting run-up. They're never going to be there on time. It is this time the hooker, Gurioli's fault. Actually, it was Tirani throwing the ball in there.
Singh then with the conversion. Her 4th attempt at goal. And that one straight down the middle. And England well over the 30-point mark now. Feeling confident as well. I found out the other day that Amy Cocaine's initials are AVFC, Amy Victoria Fiona Cocaine. And I can tell you her family are Aston Villa fans. It was done on purpose.
What, Tim?
Is she a Villa fan, though?
I hope so.
Backwards?
Little juggle, happy that it's backwards, our referee, that one. 30 seconds to go. Well done for holding on to that one, Granzotto. A little bit more of a spark around to this Italian attack. Stefan. Singh. Oh, that was high coming in there by Dinker. Not sure if they'll check that one in the bunker.
Sure. Okay.
Packer. Roland. And that is the half. It was as expected, a big performance from England, but Italy did get their try. Half time, and it's England 33, Italy 5. Both sides just making their way down the tunnel at the moment. They'll be pretty pleased with that, don't you think, Brian?
I think so. Didn't finish everything off, but then you do have to give credit for the Italians to try to stay in the fight. The biggest problem for Italy is when you can't get line-out ball, every single time it goes wrong, you're under pressure. They've had 3 different throwers, the best of whom they won from the bench, who had to go back off. And England have fed off that. They've made meters in the contact. I think they'd like to be a bit sharper in terms of finishing off all their chances. Yes, but first out, first opportunity, first 40 minutes, perfectly satisfactory.
Yeah, and you have to say they did really well dealing with that huge push on the English scrum. So they've just managed to sort out their set piece. The line-out did improve. And actually, when it came to penalties, it was actually England's discipline that was worse than Italy. 6 penalties for them, whilst Italy only 4, so not too bad there. But they're having to run themselves ragged with all those big tackles they're putting in. Right, let's get down to pitch side.
Well, as far as Italy go, 26 missed tackles. So the stats from that first half probably tells its own tale, given England have scored 5 tries. England dominating, of course, 475 metres made. They've only missed 2 tackles. And they've already got the bonus point, haven't they, for scoring 4 tries. So England in a very good place at half-time, leading 33-5. Simon, if you were in that dressing room today as their former coach, what might you be saying to them after an opening 40 in this year's Six Nations?
I think, first off, you'd be giving them a big rap for the way they started the game, the intensity, the physicality that they started with, and also the things that John Mitchell talked about in terms of getting their run and kick balance right for about 30 minutes. They've just got a little bit loose now, few errors creeping in the game, forcing the play a little bit. So I think probably just getting back to basics.
Now, Katie, we talked, didn't we, early on about Mia Venner just winning her 2nd cap today at 21 years of age. We love it when a player we flag up is the first try scorer. How impressed have you been? She's been influential, hasn't she, in the first 40?
She's been great. She's a very good runner. She's very balanced. It looks comfortable, looks easy for her. I think what's impressed me is the ball and what she's got inside her. You see here, England's quality. Emily Scarr again, bit of a lateral movement there. And she just looks really comfortable. Ball in two hands, nice little show and go. Doesn't go into touch, recycles the ball. And then it's England's dominance after this, Maggie. You must be really impressed with Faye and Artie.
Oh, Faye and Artie in particular, coming in at A. I think what's been really good about here at her is having the confidence to back herself. You know, England have showed this directness, you know, every forward taking the ball on, but her looking for this spaces. So you can see Artie's been identified here. She's coming to the outside channel, and then it's Venny, and easily work just to play to be able to get for this try and back themselves. That's more importantly.
Now, Simon, it was one. Emily Scarrett scored not long after that, and then it was one for the forwards, wasn't it? With the penalty try that was ultimately given. I mean, as a coach, how pleasing is that?
Well, it's interesting, wasn't it? Because they'd made a couple of errors just prior to that, and then they went route one, and they went back to the drive. And it's great to have that balance in your game, really important. So they'll be well pleased with that. Certainly the forwards will be.
And the yellow card come from this. So this is where Grinoli comes in, number 2. She changes her bind and gets her hold on Rosie Gallagher, and that affects the grounding. So it's the right call by the referee, big call for the referee to make. But actually, you know, this is where Italy really struggles sometimes. When they're under pressure, their discipline sometimes goes out the window.
I think the referee's making all the meters actually today, with the running backwards and forwards to look at TV screens. But there you go. Now look, from a sort of human interest perspective, the smile on Claudia McDonald's face when she scored that try. She's had a terrible time with neck injuries. She was, at one stage I read that she was terrified almost to leave the house, that was the mental state that she was in. Just how delighted would you be, Katie, just to see her on the score sheet today?
Look, you talk about Mia Venner and the talent she's brought, but somebody like Claudia McDonald has had to show so much resilience to get to this point. Like you say, a neck injury in a contact sport like rugby is huge. It's career-ending. So she's come back from it once. She had some complications, had to come back from it again. So it's great, isn't it? It's everything you want to see from a player. You want her to get through the game and survive, but also you look at the quality here. The kick from Holly Aitchison is so well weighted, isn't it? It's really lovely. And again, it's just Claude's awareness. You know, she's a smart rugby player. Her ability to come off that left foot, good catch, she tracks the ball, she comes into the ball like a winger's, doesn't get taken into touch, comes laterally inside, and it is a great finish.
Yes, so hats off to Aitchison in particular, because they're spotting at the moment the Italy defence is really narrow, so they've done the crossfield kick a couple of times. Scarrett as well, you spotted it as well, didn't you? Like, England now trying to stretch Italy's defence.
But Italy lost this fixture last year, Italy lost this fixture last year 48-0. So let's accentuate the positives here, that they are on the score sheet, Simon.
Yeah, absolutely. The tries have been at a premium over the last few years for Italy, and they've got one up now, and hopefully that'll give them some real confidence to go forward, you know, and get into the game. And also, they've been playing into a pretty strong wind. It's been very difficult to play out, so I think they'll get behind the kicking game and get some territory.
I'd say what I love about this, though, is Italy, Scolbini scores in the end, but what they do, they wheel the maul infield, so it actually makes it harder for England to defend, and England just don't get players behind the ball. But it's so good to see them get on the score sheet. I mean, I actually think they've been doing pretty well in defence, apart from when they get narrow. I mean, at the breakdown in particular, they've been making these turnovers. They've made 4 turnovers so far. So England, at the moment, again, isolating that area, and they have to step it up. Yes, they've got their 5 tries, but they won't be particularly too happy with how some of the first half has gone.
I know you were talking in commentary, Katie, about Italy's exit strategy, and they were struggling. Your face. They were struggling a little bit in that area. But just give us a sense, because they were playing in Div 2 of WXV effectively. They did beat Wales and South Africa in that tournament to finish 3rd. You know, put it into context as to where Italy stand at the minute in the women's game.
Look, Italy are not a bad side, but what you've got to remember is a lot of these girls are amateur athletes. Best, they're part-time. They're still not in a full-time programme. Their funding isn't great. You know, they're ranked 8th in the world. But I think what's different is, like, the likes of Scotland, Ireland, France, England are all in these full-time programmes, so they've got a lot of resource, they've got a lot of support, they've got regular time together. Italy are still a way away from that.
And Simon, you've been helping Japan, haven't you, in terms of the women's game? Just give us a sense of what World Rugby are thinking in terms of their development for the women's game.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of investment and a lot of resource into trying to close the gap between Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 1. You know, and Italy fall into that category in terms of Tier 2. So I think it's just trying to create particularly international matches where they can get this type of experience. You know, some of the competitions that they brought in are doing that, but the more they can play, the better. It's a tough day, but it's a great learning day for Italy.
Does that mean we'll see you in your blue tracksuit?
No.
But it is important, isn't it, in the context of the World Cup, that you have the strength in depth going forward. Right, England leading after scoring 5 tries here at the York Stadium. We can go to Jenny Drummond, who's got some company.
Thanks very much, Sonia. I'm alongside England's Abby Burton, and I have to say the Spice Girls was just ringing around this stadium at half-time here, and in fact we have a Spice Girl here. Now tell me about the group and which Spice Girl you are, Abby.
Yep, so in our Spice Girl group there is Meg Jones, who's one of the other Red Roses, and then a few of the GB7's girls as well. So I'm Ginger Spice. I had to take the short straw there. Even though I am more blonde, I had to take the short straw with that one.
Sorry to all the ginger-haired people out there, by the way. And who's Meg?
I'm pretty sure Meg is posh.
Oh, crikey. Oh, crikey.
She's not Sporty Spice. No.
Right, well, anyway, let's talk about this stadium, the World Cup, because obviously from your accent, you're a northerner from Leeds, and how important is it, how nice is it for you to have this stadium here and to be playing a match here as well?
Oh, it's super important. We have a big northern contingency in our squad, and I would say that rugby over the past couple of years has been kind of dying a little bit in the north, but the opportunities to have games here, it really makes it special, and it keeps it alive. It keeps young girls from the north being able to see us, and if we're visible to them, it ultimately means that they will want to be like us. So we want to keep putting ourselves on a platform wherever it is in the country, but I feel like the north needs it at the moment, needs a little bit of love.
I think you've teed them up beautifully. Thanks very much, Abby. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Katie, you'll be loving that love for the north, won't you? Now look, it was England are in the box seat here in York, and there were wins yesterday for Scotland and France. Katie, how impressed were you with the intent Scotland set out to play with yesterday?
They were, and you know what it is? It was a really, really good game. You know, it was back and forth. I think you see it here, just the energy that they put into it, the work rate, the desire, because it was always going to be a ferocious contest. We know Wales have got a new head coach, but for me, I'm really impressed with Scotland's style. They looked very comfortable with the type of rugby they wanted to play.
And going forward, Simon, you would be thinking that Sean Lynn is going to start, he only had 6 days ahead of that game. He's going to start to make an impact with Wales, isn't he, given what he's achieved with Gloucester Hartbury?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's got a model that he's going to work to, and he's had like 5-6 days to work with the girls, so there'll be plenty more to come from Wales.
And Maggie, France getting off to a win against over in Ireland at the Kingspan in Belfast, but they made hard work of that, didn't they? There was a red card, and at one point it was just a 2-point game.
Yeah, look, another good game though, to be fair, and Ireland really came out the level of intensity, and we do expect from the French. They have such really key players who have the pace, have the strength, and they've got a big pack. But for me, I think what the big issue was for Ireland in this game was the fact that it just missed opportunities. You know, Bullard there scoring that final try, but it was missed opportunities in the first half. Ireland made almost, in total 20 handling errors. Like, that is massive in terms of trying to make sure you get a foot into the game. And Scott Beeman said at the end of the game, they had a chance to win that, had a chance to take it by the scruff of the neck, and they didn't.
They did. Lots more sport, of course, to come on BBC television. Scotland looking to maintain their status in the top tier of football's Nations League. The second leg of their playoff against Greece follows us on BBC Two. Thursday night on the iPlayer, round 2 of Netball's Super League. Manchester take on Nottingham, coverage beginning at 7:20. Then in the Women's Six Nations next weekend, Wales take on England at the Principality. We're on air from 4:15, and a couple of podcasts as ever for you to look out for. The Rugby Union Weekly with Chris Jones, Sarah Orchard and the gang, and also have a listen to Sport's Strangest Crimes too, as Bloodgate is revisited. So England in the box seat here, aren't they, in York? Let's have a look at what happened in that first 40.
Huge numbers out wide, they just need to get it out there, and it does. Try, Venner. Aitchison, she goes for the crossfield kick. Who's going to be underneath this one? McDonald is there, straightens, drives, scores. That is trucking nicely for Italy. Who's got it? And the try is given for Italy. Oh, Amy Cockayne is there. What a poach.
Yes, England leading by 33 points to 5. And Katie, they probably don't need an insurance policy, but if you look at that bench, Abby Ward, Sadia Kabea, and of course Ellie Kildunn, do you think they will be used in this second 40?
Yeah, 100%. John Mitchell will use that bench. I think if you're Italy, like you say, World Player of the Year, Ellie Kildunn. I mean, Emma Singh has not had a bad 40 minutes either, but Abby Ward, and I think it will make a massive difference. You know, the energy those girls will bring, the intensity that they will bring as well. Hannah Bottoman, big ball carrier. It's going to be a tough 40 for Italy.
And you feel like the game is starting to open up now. So I think that's the thing with Italy. We start to see them, they give that intensity in the first half, and that final sort of 20-30 minutes it starts to spread the field. But England just have to now use their direct players, flood that bench, and actually try and lift the intensity to another level.
We can go back to commentary, and of course you'll join Brian Moore, Katie Daly-McLean when she gets up there, and Sarah Orchard.
Plenty of excitement still buzzing around this stadium in York. Plenty more rugby to go, with 40 minutes of round one of the Women's Six Nations still to play. There are some big pockets in the crowd that you might notice as we get on with this second half that are wearing cowboy hats, and I think all of that will come down to the moment when Ellie Kildunn comes onto the field. There are a group of players that are known as the Cowboys that she, at the moment, along with Meg Jones, are sort of the leaders of that troop. And Ellie Kildunn, being a Yorkshire girl, I think will get quite the welcome. Right then, England waiting to get back underway in this second half. Helena Rowland there just giving out the secret messages behind the ball. Italy waiting in formation on the left-hand side of the field. The score they got in that first half, vitally important to them, to know that they can flex when they need to against this absolute juggernaut world #1 side. Not the cleanest of restarts. England win it back. Galligan again. Quite a number of the women out on the field that were involved in that PWR final. Just like Galligan, don't know quite where they're getting the energy from. The Premiership Women's Rugby final was played last weekend at Saracens StoneX Stadium. And that is the end of the women's domestic season in England. As the high kick comes from Helena Rowland, just in play, lovely take by McDonald. Nice bit of synergy. But lost forward. And we restart then with an Italian scrum. And moments like that always chase the ball, have a go, you never know.
Marcia?
Yes, completely. It was very strange from the kickoff from Italy there. Normally, sides line up 2s and 3s so they can be lifted in the air. The Italians in 3 rows meant effectively the person who was going to be receiving the ball was jumping from a standing start against players who are on rushing, which is a much more difficult thing to do. I really don't understand that at all.
Well, they'll reset that one. You can just see on this near side that Sara Tornesi is now onto the field. Montpellier player now, but previously at Sale.
Stay strong, both of you.
Just packing down there in that black scrum cap, Sara Sayet. Been at Ealing Trailfinders a couple of years now. Used to play her rugby at Wasps. And there's the drive from England. Once again, really good distribution. Rigone gets it out. Stevenin still onto the field. Cut back inside that time by Granzotto, who still travels on. Muzzo. They need more Italian players there. Scarrett was alive to that. Great take. Italy almost isolated themselves, gifted the ball back to the Red Roses. Crossfield kick from Rowland. Underneath it is Aitchison, but no.
Two in front and all is advancing. Where am I?
So the warning there, England not onside.
It's nice play, isn't it? I think England have got a really good balance. It's the wind, having been down pitch side, is actually really strong, so it'll have a big impact upon the kicking game. Interesting again that England have gone up to the sky as opposed to going long to territory. I think there's probably a bit of backfield space here, but this is a lovely weighted kick by Helena Rowland. Again, I think it's Maud Muir there that's offside, but it's good, inventive play.
Just to explain, it's no good anymore just standing still. If you're in front of a kick, you actively got to get back onside.
No.
The line out when it goes long from Italy has functioned. They did slightly overcook the last one at the end of that first half. Driven on, Duca has it there. Rigoni there really soft. Stevenin once again. This is strong from the Italians. One of their best attacking sets still going this time. It's Granzotto. I think she'll be held up over the line. So we restart with a goal line dropout, but that was one of the best Italian attacks.
And I think Italy are really lucky there because we clearly heard the referee shout tackle in the field of play. She's then carried over, so England haven't released the play. I think that's really unlucky for Italy not to have got a penalty there.
Keeping a close eye on where Helena Rowland ends up playing her rugby throughout this second half. There could be some chopping and changing throughout that England back line. We know that it was Rowland herself who put a hand up and said that she wanted to play 10, she's keen as mustard, but that was a goal line dropout, so that's a mistake there from Rowland.
It is, and one she will be super frustrated about. Helena is very, very good at detail, so really disappointed. It also shows the strength of the wind because she's trying to drop that in the 5-metre channel. That clears the touchline by a good 5-6 metres there.
You've got to wonder though, Katie, haven't you? If you're only leaving the margin of error of 5 metres with a dropout, surely it's much more important to get the length on.
100%.
Here comes the Italian drive again. Arms, legs, pushing. Oh, a little bit of a snipe round the corner. Stefan was inches away from dotting that one down. Italy have waited for over a match against England to score. Could 2 tries come along at once? They changed direction. Try given. Just on the line. I think it's Scorbini again. Just keep giving her the ball.
Be interesting to see that touchdown. I don't know if they're going to review it. Seems not, can't hear anything from the referee. Good work for the Italians, certainly initially there. Interesting how they shifted when the drive was stopped, just slightly to the right, put England on the back foot. Ooh. On the line is there. Very close. Benefit of the doubt, yes.
Well, Scorbini makes her way. Only her second consecutive start in an H shirt as once again Rigoni pushes that one to the right, but you have to say Emma Singh doing the right thing to put her off.
Yeah, lots of pressure there, and especially because she's quite close to the post. It means as soon as Emma Singh can start moving, as soon as Bea Rigoni starts her approach there, putting her under a lot of pressure. But really good finish from Italy there, you know, capitalise, and you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. So when you do get an opportunity, you've got to take the points, and they've done that really well again there.
Scorbini actually plays her rugby in France. A number of them do.
I'm coming to you.
Now we're going for a TMO check. After
by
all of that.
closing the window, the curtain, sorry, by blue 4.
Looking at obstruction by
and
blue 4 in the line out.
Correct.
Okay, let me come to the screen.
Okay, number 4 for Italy is Valeria Fedorighi. So they're just going to have a look to see if she was obstructing England from getting to the ball.
Well, you can support, but you can't go in front. You can't go in front. Oh, yes. She's right round the front of the player, which stops the England players. In fact, there are 2 players there. They can support from the side and get bound.
Okay.
But they can't wrap themselves
I'm
round.
Blue 4 coming right behind the jumper.
The front. The 2 of them there.
For me, that's obstruction.
provided they come straight
yes.
down and keep their inside arms on this side. Okay, but they're quite clearly
It's
around
number
there.
6, Precious.
Number 6.
That's blue 6, thank you.
So we have obstruction by blue 6 in the line out.
Correct.
Thank you. No try. Blue 6 obstruction on the jumper, behind the jumper. Okay, thank you.
Well, that's just going to be a penalty, but a frustration then for Italy, who lose that second try and will come back, and no doubt England will try to make things right.
And look, the TMO in that instance is right. My question would be, does it need to take 3.5 minutes before we get to that point? Because it's taken a lot of the tempo and a lot of the energy. It's quite energy sapping for the players.
Yeah, and we did have a few moments like this as well yesterday in the match between Scotland and Wales as well. They're trying to see if they can speed things up.
Yeah, if it's that clear and obvious, then it's that clear and obvious. It shouldn't take that amount of time to get to that point.
Time off. 2 blue, substitution.
Okay, changes then for Italy here. We can hear going off the field of play is Laura Gurioli. Coming on then is Vakini, who did have 10 minutes in the first half. She did pretty well as well, and she will resume.
Okay. Turn back on.
RAF officer Amy Cocaine gets the ball in. Packer, Rowland. Aitchison, flat pass to Scarrett, can't be taken.
Knock on by white, then by blue.
Well, we almost had some rugby breakout, but it's been a little while now. The concern is 7 minutes into the second half if both sides are going to settle here, Brian. And again, it's a scrum, and Italy know they've got to get this in and out quick.
Yes, handling errors, players overrunning slightly. Aberrant kicks, it's time that one side, or in fact both sides, settled down, played some phases and kept the ball.
What will be interesting, again, with England is that we know they want to play contestable, but if you've got a wind behind you, or in this sense, if you've got a wind in front of you, you've got to find a different way.
Scorbini. They come out wide, Steven into the floor. Lots of bustle from both sides here as we wait then for Federighi to find some more support. This time going forward through Tornesi. Stay on the floor. They're trying to find options, and that was quite high going in there by Duca. Another drive on by Tornesi. Montpellier player really building up ahead of steam. Now it's Turani. Little over the top, but too much on that one.
Goal line.
And another goal line dropout. It's almost as if Italy run out of ideas. They were going in the right direction.
They were, and obviously that wasn't a planned move because no one was flat to take that. And bearing in mind the dead ball areas here are very small, you'd have to be absolutely precise, both in terms of the timing of your run and the kick.
I think you talked about at the end of the first half as well, Brian. It's just about patience. Just keep going through your phases. You're forward. Sarah Tornesi's making loads of meters for you. Just let her keep going. You don't need to kick possession away.
I tell you, as an outside back with 4 players outside you and 4 defenders in front of you, you wouldn't want the scrum half to make that decision for you, would you?
No, and those decisions, to be honest, the best ones are the ones that come in to out. They're from your wingers, call them, and then it's up to your half-backs to execute. In that instance, you probably just want a little tip, a little carry, because you're only 5-6 meters away there. You don't need to kick that ball away.
Well, if these two come onto the field, expect to cheer. 2 of the most popular players in the England squad. Sarah Byrne, Hannah Bottoman. I think it'll be Byrne who comes on first. You can see Bottoman there, just still with her subs top round her. She won't thank the director for that shot, but hey, happens to us all.
We're going to talk about our taping as well, Randy. Who made that decision?
Turn back on.
Okay, they're finally ready to get going. Rowland then, goal line dropout. This one will stay in. Stefan. Little shuffle round from Veronese. Played in a couple of World Cups now. And she's still going. You can see her experience. Stevanin, Rigoni, Ostuni Manuzzi really running England ragged now. This is such a better second half then from Italy. Really pushing hard. They've had so much more possession in this second half. What can they do with it? Remember, only one win for them in the last Six Nations when they managed to win away in Ireland. But knocked on the ball again, and just that final execution fails them.
It did, but it's much better from Italy, though, isn't it? In terms of continuity, in terms of speed of ball, actually putting England under pressure.
England 1 and 3.
And I'm sure England, although they would like to win the game comfortably, they don't want a game where they're not contested. And here they come. Things are not going to get any easier when these two have come on for the Italians, let me say that.
Good shift by Clifford and Muir. And here are Bottoman and Byrne. England do have some riches when it comes to the front row. It is ridiculous.
They really do, and I think what I really like what John Mitchell's doing is about this kind of creating almost two packs in the front row that are used to playing together. So these guys will know each other inside out. You come on for a scrum.
Well, they sound like a firm of IP lawyers. They don't look like that.
Let's see what Bottoman and Byrne have got up their sleeve on this one. Packer pushes it out to Rowland. Socks around her ankles, sends it into the front of the far stand.
I think that's a much better tactical decision from England. Execution wasn't great. I'm sure Helena would have wanted to hit 10s and halfways, but in terms of being a bit more pragmatic about their approach, getting out of their 22, Italy have had 80% possession over the last 10 minutes, so England need to get a foothold back in the game, and they need some territory to be able to do that.
Oh, big hand in there by Gallagher. Happy with that steal. Straightened again this time by Rowland. Bit of ricocheting as she works her way through some Italian shirts. Aldcroft. New captain has actually been battling away with a bit of a cold this week. Done so well to actually make it out onto the pitch after leading to Gloucester Hartpury to success in the league last weekend. Well, it's a bit of a pinball out there, but in the end it's Uramuzzo who has it. And it's a pile of spaghetti down there on the floor, but it's a pile of spaghetti with England ending up with a meatball.
Well, Italy got away with a bit of shepherding in front of Emily Scarrett there, but they eventually paid for that. Just go back to the line-out, which Italy have just lost there. There were 3 players moving with dummy jumps, and the hooker is waiting and waiting and wondering which one's going to go up, and eventually it went wrong because there's just far too many people doing far too many complicated things.
Well, we're going to see an England at attack now at the other end of the field. It feels like some time that we've been looking in this direction. Just the top down again, so England hold on to the ball. Huge thump going in on Rowland on that occasion as Packer comes back again. Bottoman. Byrne offering herself. Such a charging runner, good hands as well, used to play in the centres. Byrne refusing to be tackled. Aitchison, big pass out wide, Singh is there. Calm heads required from England. Aitchison with the long pass out wide. Bernardi is there. The Italians arrive. Can they stop her? Yes, they say welcome to touch.
Well, he would have put money on Bernardi getting there with the way she's carried the ball.
Italy thought about going quickly there, but I think Bernardi's just going to get a little bit of treatment. I think it's actually some cramp to her leg.
It's a little bit naive there for me. I think, look, England played really well. Their approach play is lovely. It's a lovely ball over the top by Holly Aitchison. Emma Singh, ball in her two hands, makes Italian defenders make decisions. Really good clear by Emily Scarrett there. Speed of ball. Hannah Bottoman comes on, immediately makes a bust here, and it's a really good last man tackle. But as this play plays on, Italy again have got really narrow here. Balls move. I think as soon as that bounces, she has to step off that left foot and drive in. As soon as you start giving that opportunity for defenders to take you to the touchline, it becomes so easy to defend. She's got to drive in, she's got to use that power and split these two defenders. They get into, I think it's Dinker there, and drive forward, not out to that edge.
Katie, we were watching the ball come, and we were both shouting for it to come wide. But when the ball goes through the hands and you stay and you keep inside defenders honest and stay there, it doesn't create a 2-on-1. As soon as you make the decision for the person who's on the wing and miss everyone out, then everyone just drifts. And then it becomes a battle against how many players get there as a defender.
It does, and I think because the ball bounced as well, it just gives defence more time, doesn't it? That goes straight ahead, it's maybe a straight run to the corner. As soon as it bounces, she's got to be smart there, she's got to drive in, she's got to stay away from that touchline.
Marley Packer, vice-captain now for England, takes a seat. Sadia Kabea into the fire.
Okay, time back on.
Marley Packer still waiting for her 50th cap in an England shirt. Stuck on 49 for now. Should say tries, not caps. 49 tries. Bottoman. There's Marley Packer. Marley Packer got her 100th cap in this fixture this time last year. Big penalty though for Italy.
Sadia Kabea there, wasn't it, with the double roll. Obviously once you tackled, you land, you can't then roll. Sadia rolls, and it's an easy decision for the referee to allow Italy to relieve some pressure.
The reason for that being illegal is players who are on the floor are deemed not to be involved in the game, and you're not supposed to contest with them. So if you effectively crawl or roll on the floor, it means that you're out of play.
Stops the jackal as well, doesn't it? Which is what we want. We want a competition at the breakdown. As soon as Sadia lands, she's got to present.
Well, we're just waiting for some treatment here to be completed for Italy before they can actually get back going. It's worth knowing that although we said Italy finished 5th in the recent Six Nations, they have been higher up the table, all the way up to 2nd back in 2019. They have had their moments in this competition. In recent years, it's all been about the depth of their competition, particularly their domestic club sides. We do know that more of their regular season games now being shown on terrestrial television. As Helena Rowland just gets a little bit of treatment there. But at the moment, it's whether there's enough investment into the players. I mean, 25 of them have full-time contracts that roll on every year. But you do just feel they need that bit more depth.
100%, and I think it's also stability. You know, year on year these contracts are changing, and these girls have lives. They need that security to be able to invest in this Italian side.
Muzzo. Started all the tests for Italy last year. Can she repeat the trick in 25 as the ball is lost backwards? Rigoni gathers. Haven't really seen any Rigoni magic that we're used to so far in this fixture. She can pull some pretty special things out of the hat when the occasion arises.
Use it.
Well, Stefan sends that one flying through the Yorkshire sky. Singh happy to receive. We could see that was coming for Scarrett. Knows to take it back inside. Would have been all on her own in an island if she hadn't. Well, that's Scorbini again, who is alive to everything in this fixture. Only her 29th cap. She's 24 years old, but she's certainly sparkling for the Italians.
So you were talking about Rigoni and the magic she can do with the ball in hand, but I'm also surprised that given the wind is in their favour, and it's quite strong by all accounts, Katie, she's got a prodigious boot on her as well, and it would be a good option for them simply to get her to kick for territory.
100%, especially if you look at the quality of the turnover there, with the opportunity to try and pin England back in the corners. England then have given 9 penalties, so Italy all have an opportunity to kick in and use this line out.
Tap back down for England. Worth saying, we have not had a score so far in this second half. Byrne.
Taken back.
Rowland. Nice take there by Granzotto. Stefan. Stevanin. Tirani. Confusion on the floor. We'll restart then, and I think they needed a set piece there just to tidy a few things up. We can see more players still warming up out on the far side, waiting to come onto the field. Referee just looking over to see if anyone's coming. Not yet, they say.
It's the second Damien Kane again, another rip in there. Look, players falling. It's just smart, isn't it? Ball ripped. Usually that potentially could have been a play on as opposed to a scrum.
Abby Ward, Bristol captain, getting ready.
Katie, what do you think accounts for the lack of points, the lack of precision in England in this half?
I don't think they're getting enough territory, if I'm honest, Brian. They keep putting balls to the air in their half, kick long, which we know they can. See what you can do and go pressure them.
Great hands by the England backs. Werner hasn't been able to get as much ball in this second half as she enjoyed in the first. Fernati. Oh, and here comes Singh. She's broken away. She was looking for support. McDonald. Gallagher. Here we go. Byrne.
Let out.
Already carried 4 times, Byrne. Only just been on the field. Good charge down by the Italians. Hacked on this time by Dinker. And just casually ushered out of play there by Helena Rowland. And all of that field position that England gained, lost in a second.
And Katie, that's one of those things that coaches will be looking at closely, because once you made a break into the backfield,
England,
all
10,
the defenders are turned.
4 and
That's
2,
where you expect to be able to put those chances away.
10.
It's interesting watching England. It's whether they've come in with a plan, because they've definitely kicked possession away.
Okay, few changes here. Coming onto the field to play for her debut, Jade Shekels. Now she's coming on for Helena Rowland, but they'll just swap things around. So we'll see Holly Aitchison move into 10 there. And here comes Abby Ward. She actually made her debut back in 2015, so 10 years at the Test coalface. And there's little Hallie, her daughter, cheering on. What a mum she has. Don't forget, Mother's Day next weekend, everyone. Get your cards and gifts ready. Public service information over as Italy come on the drive once again over into the 22. You can see on the field there is Giada Franco, who's now onto the field. Big moment for her. We're saying she hasn't played for Italy now since 2023, had a terrible knee injury against Wales. Great to see her back on the field.
Yeah, and she's so talismanic for Italy, you know. Before she got injured, she was the player, the face of Italian rugby. Very confrontational, great ball carrier, very physical. So, like you say, she's had a terrible injury, so it's great to see her back, and hopefully she'll build some form in the build-up to the World Cup.
She's a big personality as well.
She is, and you know, when you've got her, you've got Sara Tinesi in there, just changes the dynamic of that Italian back row. Scorbini's gone so well. To have like-minded players with the same physical capability will be huge for Italy.
Sorry, let's have it again. Move in.
Well, the crowd were just getting into that, and then we had a reset, so we go again.
This is an area I'd like to see officials speed up. No, I mean, at least in terms of commanding players to get down and get ready and get it going quicker.
I agree, along with the TMO.
You just saw a little flash there of Lily Ives, Campion, who's been kept on there in that second row, the Loughborough lock, only her second cap as the ball comes away again through Fairnarty for the Red Roses. Sarah Byrne shuffling along, taking every metre she can.
Stay.
Stuni Manuzzi trying to find a pathway into that England 22. Marisa Valsugana, but that's stolen, and it's Fairnarty. Popped off to Venner. She hacks on the ball, but that one's gone straight out to play, and they will come back.
What do you think John Mitchell will be thinking at this time?
Do you know what I was just going to ask you, Brian? I think it must be really interesting from a coach, right? England have come out with a set game plan. We're seeing them kick to contest. They're putting the ball in the air. However, probably we would agree that it's not working. It's a great strip there from, I think it's Willie Gallagher again, and a great break. But at what point do the players decide, look, we need to do something different because actually the game plan probably isn't working right now?
Bikini gets in. Rigone. Stefan. Charging run by the Italian forwards, trying to find space. Eventually it's hacked on ball, but it's straight out of play.
In front of noise advancing.
But on that, I think that was a better tactical decision, you know. Backfield space, yes, execution wasn't great, but the space was there. She got her head up, she was on the move. 5 metres, that's a great bounce, and it's a pressurised line out here. You see the space there. Mia Werner's having to work really, really hard there, but that bounces in. It's a very good kick, potentially 50-22.
Big moment then for May Campbell on this near side touchline. She'll have to wait to take her first line out as there's more changes here for Italy. You can see coming on is Emmanuel Stecca, but also Alia Bitonci comes on, making her Italian debut now. She is only 18 years old. I was told by the Italian press officer this week she is the first Italian player, male or female, who was born in 2006, for anyone who wants to feel old.
Wow.
Well, May Campbell hits her arrows. For the time being, May Campbell is doing so well in this squad. She's keeping Harlequins' Connie Powell out of an England shirt for now. Such has been her performances in the league this season. That's lost forward by England. And we still haven't had a score in this second half.
Well, I was just going to say, the last 10, 12, 15 minutes from England have been very average. Apart from the runs which the bench players brought on Bottom and Byrne and so on, the rest of the game has been frustratingly inexact.
And I think that's what the difference is, isn't it? When we talked about England in the first half, they were comfortable with the ball, they went through phases, they were winning the collision, they had really good ruck speed. At the moment, it's been, like you say, very stop-starty, kicking a lot of ball away, not a lot of territory, and not really getting an opportunity to go through those phases to pressure Italy and squeeze their defence.
Bang on the halfway for Italy to launch an attack. Bikini's managed to work her way round. That one's still happily moving along. Here we come then through Bitonci. Huge pressure coming in. Jade Shekels there couldn't quite get the outcome she wanted. Out towards the far side. Italy still going and heading in the right direction. Lost forward. Can England use this advantage? Cabella, oh, nearly stolen. That would have been nice by Dinker, but we were playing England advantage, and she knocks on the ball in the process, so it's an England penalty.
From where you are?
Again, a bit laboured from England, to the extent to which she identified that there could be an interception. Just like to see more phases at the moment.
Yeah, they don't look connected, do they? Like, there's a couple of backs out there, forwards and lots of forwards in front of the ball. She's unlucky. If she gets two hands to that, you're not catching her.
It's Alicia Dinker's birthday today, as is it John Mitchell's. Fascinated to know what the England coach will be doing now. Jade Shekels there was tackled. If she wants to go again, she's got to let go of the ball before she goes again. Holds up her hand. She is on debut here.
And it's a nice little first phase, isn't it? Good running lines, flat to the line. Gets a half scrag there. Like you say, if she just lets go of that, she's absolutely fine to do that. And she's got the pace.
Jade Shekels, one of the Great Britain team that went to the Paris Olympics for the Sevens last summer. And the cheer that's going up from the crowd is because one of Yorkshire's finest is onto the field. There's a few of them out there, but at World Player of the Year right now, a hugely popular character, and as I said, the cowboy hats in the crowd are for her.
She's also gone onto the wing. Emma Singer's stayed at fullback, so that'll be really interesting to see how Ellie Kildone goes on that wing.
No.
Well, Italy are back into the England 22. Also see that Flo Robinson is on for her debut at scrum half. She nearly made a debut back in 2021. Long story, but the floodlights went out in France. Nobody had a coin for the metre and the game had to be abandoned. True story.
Remember that game?
Ball comes back now for Stevanin. Now, can Italy just hold on to this and keep doing what they're doing? No silly mistakes. Franco. This time Duca is ready, makes another metre. Bikini involved in that one. Also won it was Franco. This is slow. If you don't like the dark arts of what forwards get up to sometimes, you might get frustrated, but it's working for Italy. Rigoni on that one. Dinker now, birthday girl on the ball. The patience here from the Italians. It's loose on the floor, a bit of a mess, and it's an England penalty. England survive again.
I'm gonna push it. You can't kick it through.
Hannah Bottoman over the ball there. So good in that position, so strong and so hard to move.
Well, it's a tremendous kick, and England need it. Got the feeling in the last 10-15 minutes that Italy, unlike the first half, when they were definitely losing the battle to contact in and around the breakdown, we just started to even that.
Campbell gets the ball in once again. Flo Robinson under a bit of pressure there, the Exeter woman. Robinson finds Aitchison, popped off to Shekels.
No.
Aitchison, Scarrett, nice then to Singh. They're flooding the left channel back inside then to Kildone. Bottoman, Aitchison, Shekels again. You can see her strength already. Byrne, sit down. Oh, Sarah Byrne, what are you doing to these Italians? They'll have nightmares about that. That's her 6th carry, making meters all the time. Pushed out towards the far side. Is this the try the second half has been waiting for? Cabella! Sadia Cabella goes over. Finally, York is bouncing once again. How hard did England have to work in the end to get that?
Well, they did, but the important thing is that they did the work. They didn't panic, they went through the phases as we said they might do. That's a tremendous carry, isn't it? And the important thing is once you get behind the defence, then you've got to have the patience and you've got to have the precision to make sure it counts, not to panic.
She had a lot to do there, Sadia Cabella, didn't she? 10 metres out, about 5 defenders.
And Italy will be disappointed, and they should be disappointed with the number of... Oh, here we go.
Oh, not again. We're going for a TMO
forward
review.
Pass. Yeah, that's forward. Yep.
Okay.
Does it come out of the hands forward? Yes, it does.
Yeah, I see it.
Those are your best angles.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
She clearly passes it forward. Yeah, the hands.
So scrum, blue ball, 5 metres from halfway.
Okay, thank you. Okay, back to me, Zini. I've got a decision.
You're on screen now.
Okay, so we've got a clear forward pass from the hands. We're gonna go back, no try. Tell me where we are, Zini.
You're 5 metres from the halfway.
A clear forward pass. A clear forward pass. So we're gonna go back here.
Here.
Yeah, scrum.
12 white.
Okay, so
Yeah,
still
forward
no
pass.
score then in this second half. We all got far too excited. Maybe the second half doesn't need a score. We shall see. Right then, the scoreline remains. England 33, Italy 5, 8 minutes to go. So a reminder that, of course, in the World Cup, Italy will be back here. They are in Pool D. They've got France, South Africa and Brazil all in the mix with them. And they made it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup in New Zealand, the first Italian side to ever achieve that, male or female. And if this second half is anything to go on, they're building something. But that is a huge tackle.
Offside. Offside.
Taken quickly then by the Italians, who are sniffing something here. Lovely hands. Oh, Stuni Manuzzi, that's backwards. Just appealing for it there was Guy Maris. Once again, over the top of the ball. The jackling from England has been something special today, and it's Byrne again.
One of the reasons I think Italy have had a better second half, and that's not just because of the wind, is in the first half, England's defence was so dominant that it drove them backwards. In this half, I think they've managed to get at least parity in the contact, and that's made the ball come slightly quicker for them.
Saracens, Campbell finds Aldcroft, Aitchison, McDonald, right through the guts of the park there.
No, it's fine, play on!
Italy told to get out of there. Pushing towards the edges of the pitch, Fernati straightens again. She has been everywhere today. Of course, Alex Matthews, who frequently wears 8 for England, she actually picked up a 3-match ban from a high tackle in the PWR final. Could be reduced to 2 games if she completes tackle score. Means the earliest you might see her in this Six Nations would be against Ireland in round 3.
Taken back.
McDonald passes out to Shekels. Well, John Mitchell wanted to see how strong she could be, Shekels, and she's certainly shown that. He's looking for another 12 in the mould of Tatiana Hurd. Still England ball. Aitchison, Scarrett, goes back towards where she knows where the extra support is. What a run.
Forward there.
But it's forward again. Sorry, Hannah.
Thanks, yes.
She can't believe it.
Forward.
Well, that was the moment. Right, while they reset and get ready to go with this scrum, let's have your player of the match, please, Katie Daly-McLean.
So I chatted to my friend here, Brian, and there's a couple of mentions. We thought Rosie Gallagher went extremely well. I thought Emma Singh at fullback has been really bright. Yeah. But our woman of the match today is that lady on your screen, Maddie Fainarty. You know, she's had top carrier, 14 carries, she's made 104 metres, 15 tackles as well. Been extremely busy in a lot of England's good stuff. That lady's featured prominently, so really strong performance in that 8 shirt today.
And your choice has got a round of applause, which is quite good, because a lot of choices for player of the match do not get wide acclaim.
Technically it's yours, but I'm going to steal it anyway.
I have to also say, Maddie Fainarty, it's only her 11th cap today. She's still very young at 22 years old. She's one of 4 sisters. Her younger sister Zara also at Exeter as well. Plenty more to come from her, and still only at the start of her career. Could have represented Samoa, could have represented New Zealand, but said when she started on that England pathway, it felt right.
Look, it's great, and I think she's a very similar mould to Alex Matthews, isn't she? She's physical, she's dominant, she's pacey, looks very comfortable in those wide channels. So I think to have 2/8 of that quality is it's great for England, and especially one at the younger end of the ladder. Not calling Alex old, by the way.
Scovini.
Is that the score at half-time?
So still no score in this second half. Everything has been rubbed out, scrubbed off. I can't tell you how popular Ellie Kildun is in this stadium each time she touches the ball. It's fantastic. Robinson. Bottomman waiting for a little bit of support. Aitchison takes herself into contact. Cabella, try denied. Byrne not expecting that, but takes it in the end. And Kildun just tiptoeing there on the line, does so well to keep that in. Wonderful play.
No. Out of there, no, even 9.
Nice run there by Ives Campion. Going the full distance here on her second cap. Popped off to Ward. That one ends up going out of play on the far side. And we restart then with an England platform. Nice position for them to try and do something.
It's a nice bit of skill there, isn't it, from Shekels, just in behind the defender, trying to commit 2 defenders. Gets it offloaded to Abby Ward.
Fainarty, player of the match. Cabella. Shekels offering herself. Happy to do a bit of the dog work as well. This is all power. Bottomman. Was that high? Byrne. Sarah Byrne building up a head of steam now. Popped off. Scarrett inside. Singh scores. And finally, have we got a try in the second half? We've said it before. Could this be the one?
We'll have to wait at least 4 minutes. It was better by England. The build-up play, the approach play. like sorry, you mentioned there, the physicality of the forwards, the Bottomans, the Burns, all from this line out though. It's just Feyenoordi again, in behind, nice off-throw. This is England of the first half, comfortable ball in hand, it's just drawn in. You can see, 10 Italian defenders there, and then it's just a race to space, isn't it? Emily Scarrett doing what she does so well, running straight, fixing defenders. No opportunity for a defender there to slide off, and Emma Singh gets the walk in.
But one of the things that made ground from the initial burst was the fact that Ellie Kildare, most people would have spotted this, was in the defender's left-hand side. You could see her as a possible recipient of the ball. That meant she didn't get the full tackle on the runner. That meant the ball came quicker. That meant the defence was turned.
No conversion for Emma Singh for her own try, and we will have time for a restart. Italy making their way down the field. You do feel maybe they could have got more out of this second half, but they've really turned it on in this second 40. Restart then by Campomargi. Perhaps not what was wanted.
Just like, yeah. Did it? No.
It's one line now. It's one line now.
So it went in.
Okay, so we're going to finish this test then with a May Campbell line-out throw. England have got a long way to travel down the field if they're going to do something with this one.
Okay.
Tight at the front, taken by Ward. Aitchison, Shekels. You cannot underestimate how significant those meters are when they're made through that midfield. Bit of a juggle there. Advantage now to the Italians. Are they going to finish this match off? Dinka manages to find more forward ballast. Bitonci with the distribution, finds Franco. Bitonci again.
Advantage over.
Clock well into the red now.
Tackle.
England will be defending for everything. They only had 5 tries scored against them in the whole of the Six Nations last season. Averaging 1 a game. They will not want that statistic to change in the wrong direction. Stevenin can't quite take pressure coming in by Cabella.
No, leave it white.
It's a penalty to Italy.
You are fine, 80.
And they're going to go quickly here, Italy. Not interested in setting up the line-out.
No hands.
Bitonci again. Quick hands then, Stevenin. I mean, they're making ground here, Italy, but we're talking inches. Scorbini. A real flying attack from her. Could do some damage, but that's been dropped forward by Italy. And that is it. The reigning champions set off on the 2025 campaign with yet another win. Italy did have a bit of fight in them, but ultimately it was the result that was expected. It finishes in York, England 38, Italy 5.
Congratulations to England. They follow France and Scotland with wins on the opening weekend of the Women's Six Nations Championship. We'll get all the reaction from York over on the iPlayer very shortly. It's Wales-England next weekend at the Principality Stadium. But now we're going to another cathedral of sport, Hampden Park, because Scotland are playing Greece in the Nations League. Can they keep their place in the top tier of that tournament? Bye for now.